Welcome, Wargamers. My name is Doug from 2Plus Stuff, and today we're going to teach you how to beat Goliath as David. And that's a big promise up top, but after this last Adepticon that I went to, and knowing the experiences that I've had in this industry as an independent content creator, just trying to work with various companies who are both starting a Kickstarter as well as very well established companies like GW, I've learned quite a bit. I see some really cool trends and I would like to share them with you. I do believe that there are hundreds and thousands of dollars in this hobby being left on the table by your favorite miniatures company, whoever they are. So if you are a fan of a smaller game company, something that's not in the major headlines like, say, stuff by like Atomic Mass Games, Games Workshop, those kinds of companies. I'm looking at like smaller level stuff, so like things like Relic Blade, a lot of indie games for sure. Relic Blade, Free Blades, Carnivale, Moonstone, heck, even Battletech. It's big, but there's so much weight around that IP. But you know what I mean? It's kind of smaller games where there's not nearly as much of a following. They have products, they have an excited community, but getting over that next plateau to grow is very difficult. Please share this video in those groups or Discords or whatever, because I want those game designers and production companies to make more money. So I'm going to go through I created a list of things after Adepticon that I could see that people would do. Very aggressive stuff that you can get done in a weekend pretty much. And I'm going to go through them, and this is in no particular order, so please just bear with me. Side note before I get started, I'm going to have a whole bunch of resources for small business owners in the description down below. Please go check those out. Step 1, make a press kit. This is a thing that I see a lot of companies not doing. And that is when people ask me to talk about their game online, or whether I get paid to do it from a Kickstarter, something like that, they don't have assets ready. If you don't have materials ready to facilitate a discussion about your game, that tells me it's not worth talking about, to put very simply. What I mean is, if you have things like a collection of PNG files of your logo, fancy product shots, maybe some people, enjoying an active game of it, artwork, maybe some lore blurbs, you don't have to have like a whole Silmarillion written, just a few little bits and bobs to get us going. Official marketing images, discount codes, whatever it is. Create a folder full of resources that when someone says, hey, I want to talk about your game, I want to make a video of it, I want to do a review, you can then just send them this compressed folder that has all the resources they need to facilitate a community discussion. And what this also does for you as a business owner is gives you control over what things are emphasized. For example, if your game's one of its strengths is affordability, that's something that you can very much put into the marketing. A great example is Parabellum. They do their marketing strategies really emphasize that you get 2 games in every box of models. You get Last Argument of Kings, the full rank and flank game, and then First Blood, their skirmish variant. That's an appeal to financial reasonability, right? This is a good value. If your emphasis is tactical gameplay, you need to have marketing material that emphasizes that. If it's a vibe like, this is a harkening back to old role-playing games, have artwork that harkens back to it on hand for people to use. Like I said, the core here that I'm getting at is if you have to provide the raw materials for discussions to organically happen. Now, the second one is a doozy, so bear with me. I'm going to be looking at my notes here because there's a lot of things that I wanted to say. This is a massive one. Start an affiliate program. Do it. I know that it takes an immense amount of work. It is going to take you maybe 4 hours to get it all set up the way you want, including like a test and stuff like that. Every single major website developer. So you've got stuff like Shopify, WooCommerce for WordPress, Squarespace, all of those. They all have plugins or third-party things that allow you to bolt on an affiliate program to your existing site. You don't have to do a whole lot of anything, except if there's products you don't want to be at a discount, you go through and unselect those. But realistically, all these things are designed to take your existing inventory and port it over into an affiliate program. It's the thing that I've been screaming about because it is the least amount of time investment for you as a business owner to get the most amount of money. You've created a situation with your press kit to let conversations happen organically in a professional way, emphasizing your company's strengths. And now you move into a direction where I'm going to incentivize the community to organically form around my game by incentivizing content creators to talk about it. I'm not going to give out numbers. I'm just going to say this. I sell as much product as a small store does through affiliate sales every single month for Parabellum. What that looks like money-wise is up to your interpretation. I'm talking about what if you had another store that was your sole distributor. So here's the idea, basically. I'm going to put it really simply for folks who are new to the idea of affiliate marketing, as I know a lot of business owners are. All major online retail stores, like I said before, Wixbase, Shopify, Squarespace, have a third-party affiliate programs, and most of them are cheap. I think the ones that I usually suggest to people start with you can have maximum of 50 affiliates, and it's like $16 a month or something like that for like the base material for you to even test to see if it works to make you thousands of dollars. That test costs $16 a month. It's a no-brainer. You then go into this software, whichever one you choose, and you create a discount. For the sake of easy numbers, we're going to go, again, I'm talking to you, business guy. For the sake of easy numbers, we're going to say 10%. Anyone who uses this link gets 10% store-wide. A lot of these programs you can go in and make an exception. And then you give me a code that says, hey, Doug, anytime anyone uses this code, they save 10% and you get 10%. When I, Doug, create content and bring a sale to you, business owner, we both get paid. You sell the product at a discount, 80% of MSRP. I make some coin, and possibly new friends in building a new community. This works because of two very important things. One is limited risk. It doesn't cost you much of anything. You're gonna have like a startup, like I said, $16 to get the affiliate program going. It'll maybe cost you like 3 or 4 hours of time. But think about your margins when you sell them to a distributor, and the distributor then sells them to the local game store, and the local game store then sells them to the customer. All the different markups that have to happen. All of a sudden, that doesn't seem like such a bad deal, does it? You're shipping them direct to your customers. In fact, now you have your customers making accounts on your website. You now have marketing material, newsletter stuff. Like, it just snowballs. There's so much value. As long as you can get the shipping down of, like, you know, where things are being shipped from and how that works across seas and stuff like that, in terms of having American, you know, distributors and maybe something in the UK or EU, that kind of stuff. Once you get that nailed down, you're off to the races. I'll give you an example. I mentioned before the Parabellum affiliate program. All this is public knowledge. You can go see it on their website, and they're very forthright about it, and I try to be as well. The percentage that I make from affiliate sales and the sheer volume that I'm able to create by just talking about one of my favorite games has consistently paid my rent for the last 7 months. And while you might be thinking, I don't care if it pays your rent, here's the deal. That represents 15% of the income that I made total, which means Parabellum made the rest. That sounds pretty nice, though. I only get paid when they get paid. And this is also a point where I talked about like being able to take on GW. This is a thing where you have an advantage as a small business owner. You see, the thing is that if anyone talks about Warhammer online, okay, I talk about Age of Sigmar here on the channel. No matter what I try to do in pushing people towards an affiliate program for Warhammer stuff, they're always going to go to their local store and support them, which I encourage. But what I mean is, it's harder to get people to use an affiliate program if the product exists everywhere already. But you're a nobody, okay? I'm sorry. I just mean like in comparison to the multi-million-dollar businesses and, you know, global things like GW and Star Wars Legion and heck, even other small businesses that can have hundreds and hundreds of employees. Game developers tend to be a small crew, anything from 1 to like 20 or so people. So you're not going to be in every single store. There's just no way. Which means that if people get excited about your product because someone makes videos on them, then they are more incentivized to use the cost-effective method of saving money, of using my affiliate code, and then going directly to your website, which means you have a higher profit margin on your products, provided again shipping. What you pay in the 20% that goes towards the discount for the customer and me, it's not going nowhere. It's not just like throwing money on Facebook ads. It's advertising, community building, all in one. It allows you to create a dedicated fan base. That's all I'll say on affiliate programs right now. Please get one. I have links in the description down below to other business articles, whether it's the New Yorker, Forbes, stuff like that, that all speak about the mathematical, overwhelming evidence that affiliate programs make more money for people. Now, the next thing I want to suggest here is to have characters and people to point your customers to. This one is more of a personal opinion, but when you're talking about building an endearing fan base, people who are excited for you, your products, your games, when you showcase people, customers get excited. Like, nobody's excited about Games Workshop, the corporation, but we're excited about Games Workshop in regards to Phil Kelly and formerly Duncan Rhodes and Louis Sugden and all these wonderful artists and creative minds, Alan Bly, like, that were a part of forming a meaningful thing in our history. The corporate stock doesn't matter so much. We gravitate to people and memories, not to businesses. So if you want a good example of this, there are a few companies that I can point to. I think Corvus Belli does a really cool job of like highlighting their designers. And even if you just talk about like, hey, my name is Doug, and when I made this game, this is kind of what I was thinking when I wrote this faction. That's all it has to be. But you're associating a face and a personal touch to your products, to your design. You're letting people into your personal ethos and inviting them into the discussion. This one doesn't have as much monetary, like clear-cut monetary stuff, but it does mean quite a bit. It's honestly why I think the affiliate program works for me, is that I am personal. I respond to comments and during live streams and in the comments of videos, use them for inspiration for videos. It's a conversation. There's a trend right now with Games Workshop kind of pulling away from that. And I think it's because they've had several people who were on their painting team move away and create their own brands off the following that they had gained. And I understand the knee-jerk reaction of businesses to be like, well, I don't like the idea that they're doing that. They shouldn't have been able to build a fan base off of our intellectual property, of our hiring them. Personally, I think that's old man logic. We're past that in the age of the internet. People can be whoever they want to be, but you know, I get it. Don't be scared of that, okay? The truth is, if you are a company that's known for creating the best personalities in the hobby, that's an award in of itself. Don't shut down the program. If you're the owner of the company, talk to your customers, hang out with them, do little fireside chats. I don't care. Just be human. The next one here is kind of it's a tough one. It's a trap, kind of, and that is to have content online ready for people. Now, the reason I say it's a trap, instead of a trap, think of it more like a black hole, okay? By that I mean, no matter how much content you make, it's never enough. We'll just start there. However, that does not mean that making content is a waste of time, money, or energy. What I'm saying is you need to have something online so that when someone at a game store in the middle of nowhere goes, I don't think I've ever heard of that game, and they Google you, there's something there for them. Obviously, the name of the company or the game should be there. That one has more to do with naming your product, because some companies did that way better than others. For example, Corvus Belli's Infinity suffers because Infinity is just a word that gets used a lot. I don't know who thought of that. Whereas games like Relic Blade, you type that into Google, Relic Blade is the first thing to come up with a lot of options. Yes. Smart. But think about that person who's in the middle of nowhere. I've never heard of this game. When they go to type that into Google, that is your chance to introduce yourself to them. What are they going to find? One of the reasons that I do Kickstarter stuff is because I want games to have that as a tool in their belt. If someone's like, hey, I haven't heard of this, and they check it out, not only do I want their content to show up first because I want people to get excited about all kinds of games, but also, selfishly, I want my content there. And if you put an affiliate link in there, I'll get you there. But it's simply using search engine optimization, keywords, that kind of stuff to get your videos where they need to be. If someone says, how do you play Relic Blade? And the first thing that comes up is like, a few different battle reports that are 4 hours long and recorded on a potato can with no editing, that's not going to sell well. But if they turn it on, they're like, how to get started in Relic Blade. Here's the faction tips. Your first adventure, here's everything you need to start playing, here's a paint tutorial, here's how to make basic terrain. Like, when there's things that are targeted towards that audience for them, it feels like the community is much bigger. Oh, I'm jumping into stuff that's established. It has cool things to learn about and get excited about. There's discussions happening. And so that's why when I would go to companies and say like, hey, for a little bit of money, I'll do some videos for your content and get people at least aware of your product. That's what I did. It was just, here's the game. Here's why it's cool, or / what's unique about it. Maybe how to play or get started. We did the full playthrough of the role-playing game, like the choose your own adventure type thing from Legendary Kingdoms. That was a lot of fun. That kind of stuff. They feel like they're walking into an established community. Kind of along with that, we talked a bit about having content and being personal in the last two. One thing, I just put a note here for social media, is don't just use it for business. Have fun with it. Make memes. Actually, one of the most popular people at Adepticon had nothing to do with the event itself. It was the guy from Horizon, was it Monument Hobbies from Paints, because he made that really awesome Facebook ad. They invested to have a great ad that runs constantly. It's hilarious. Like, if you haven't seen it, go check out Monument Hobbies. It's on their homepage. But it's so fun. He made himself a character, and then he had fun as his character. So what I'm saying is, for your business account, have, like, let's say you're doing a war game. We're going to pick on Relic Blade because I recently met Sean Stutter and I think he's a really cool guy. So we're going to pick on Relic Blade. If you're doing Relic Blade feeds, don't just have product sales and that kind of stuff. Have concept art. to get people to connect more. Have lore little tidbits written out in text in the background of things. Have memes. Memes aplenty when it comes to anything fantasy. Relic Blade is kind of like I feel like a cooler way to play the encounter battles things from like D&D. Lean into that. What are the ridiculous things that people have to face when it comes to how they fight fantasy battles in the theater of the mind? Make memes about them. Have fun. Laugh. Again, be human. And this last one here I'm going to tack on because there's some smaller companies that I interacted with at Adepticon that just hadn't thought about this. And that is, think about the new player flow. And I've kind of hinted at this throughout this video, but from the second someone first hears that a game exists, okay, either hears that it exists or they see like a cool banner or something at a store, you have to create a pathway of getting them from that moment to being an active and like excited member of your community. That's your stated goal. Is it going to happen to everybody? Of course not. But that's what marketing is. It's filtering out and finding the people who do really like your products. So you need to think of everything from what kind of advertising you have, what kind of ads you're putting out. What do you want the demo experience to be like? If we're talking about content that you can create and people can Google really quickly because they've never heard of your game, having a very well shot demo is something that emphasizes what's unique about your game, but also making it kind of quick so people can kind of just breeze along a bit. Don't give me a 3-hour tutorial video. 20 minutes. Why is this game cool and why should I buy it? Leading into that, you're also going to focus on starter sets and bundles. Even if you take a loss on a starter set, if it gets them excited to buy more product, that's basic business stuff. But there's so many games that you're like, what's an onboarding product? Like, where do I start? Like, for example, Infinity, I had the hardest time because no one explained to me that each of those little boxes is kind of its own, like, collection of models. The way that army construction wasn't really explained. So I'm like, nothing says starter here. I am a man who needs training wheels for this 4-inch tall rulebook. I think they've come a long way with that. Their 2-player sets are really great and very well angled towards player. This is from like 6 years ago when I was trying to get into Infinity. But you see what I mean. Like, if the flow of where to start based on what you liked about the game is not clear, people would just be like, I don't want to put the effort in. One of the things that I like that Parabellum does is in all of their single player starter sets where you get enough to like actually start playing the army scale version of the game, Conquest Last Argument of Kings, comes with an insert. And it's really cool. It's just like, here's a variation of different kinds of armies you can build starting with this set. If you want more range stuff, hey, here's a cool warband with all those things, all the product numbers are listed. So it's a soft upsell, but it doesn't feel like an upsell because they're trying to help you. Like, they're trying, what do you want to play? I would love to help you design a list for you. It's not intrusive. It's not over the top. They're not shoving, sales offers in your face. It's a very natural way to say, if you like blank, you may also like blank. And lastly, just focusing on the community. Again, I would really suggest if you are a smaller game company or an indie game company, focus on like maybe 3 or 4 content creators you really like. I mean, just that you personally like, that you would listen to, that reflect the values of your brand, and focus on them. Like, you don't have to do everything for everybody, give out affiliate programs or discounts or product to everybody. Just pick a few that you've had good experiences with in the past and lean in. If you say, I'll give you a great example, my favorite one, okay? There's a game that it still exists, but it's a different iteration now. A different company bought it, called Deep Wars. Think of it as like a skirmish game that's set like underwater in Atlantis, okay? There's some really cool stuff, lots of different factions. You have ships that look like they're straight out of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It's a really cool looking game. The best advocate for that game was not the company that makes it. It was my great friend Greg, who has a channel over on YouTube called Cranky Old Wargamer, and he created content for them. He did demos, explanations, battle reports, all kinds of stuff. This was all fan-made stuff. The guys who were running Deep Wars, or team rather, I don't know who actually ran it, were fools for not going to Greg and saying, here's an affiliate program, will you please keep doing this? He was selling that hobby for nothing. And they lost him because he was selling it harder than them. I'm not expecting every company to be great at making content. That's a lot. It's a lot to do. I can tell you from all the crap that is around me right now, it is a lot to do. So if you're not going to do it, support the people who do as a means of outsourcing that. Find talent in your community, whether it's wonderful painters, people who are good at playtesting and can accurately and politely articulate their feedback, showcase them, offer them affiliate programs, offer them product to talk about. Like, lean in. The more people are talking and writing about your products, the better. Anyway, friends, that was a very long rant. I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, if you wouldn't mind throwing it towards other business owners within the hobby gaming community, I would really appreciate it. And if any of you business owners want to talk more about the stuff that I mentioned to you, or have a more one-on-one conversation regarding the nature of affiliate programs and what kind of content you should ask for if you're going to somebody else and saying, I would like to start this for you or invest in you as a content creator, I can give you some great ideas as far as like meaningful keyword stuff that you would want to emphasize. So hit me up. My email is in the contact or about section of YouTube here, and I'm more than happy to respond. All of the points here, I know that I was speaking to business owners, but they all are for you and I as gamers. When you have businesses that can meet you on your level, give good demos, have engaging and fun communities with personalities that they love and are anxious to talk about and share, whether it's through podcasts, videos, whatever. When communities can organically form from people just being excited about a product, getting the press kit, being able to showcase nice images and emphasize things that you as the business owner want, as well as make money when they make you money, these are all ways that you can win. Games Workshop can't do the affiliate thing nearly as well because their product's already in every store. It's not a thing that they can leverage to win. I mean, sure, they can undercut everybody by just selling it directly online at like half price. They could do that, but they won't. When you think about the flow of people coming into your game, whether it's everything from the demo experience and the artwork to also just the verbiage you use in your rules, how easy and accessible is your game, how engaging is it, all those things matter. Really think about it from a critical eye. I said my piece as far as affiliate stuff goes. I am living proof that it works, and it could work for you, and I would like to know if it does. So thank you so much for watching this video, hearing me out. If you disagree or you have feedback, sorry, I just dropped my wedding ring. I was playing around with it. If you have feedback or comments or whatever, you want to know more, please leave them in the comments down below. Just be civil and kind. This is all meant to just be good for us as gamers. That's all. Nor is it meant to crap on GW. Like I said before, I deeply love the employees that work there. It's just the corporate atmosphere and the nature of being publicly traded. It comes with some drawbacks. Drawbacks that small businesses don't have, so take advantage of it. Thank you all so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Happy wargaming.